Well, it's nearly winter, so I thought I would do something appropriate to winter. Maybe a snow scene, perhaps. How about this? This is Snowhill Village. It's in the Cotswolds in the UK. And it's just that lovely winter scene with obviously the snow. We've got to get that, but not white. You know, you think all white, but I've got to tone that down, a little bit of blue in there to suggest it. And we've got this muddy track here. But the sky, look at the sky with this sort of a little bit of red there, a little bit of crimson alizarin or something, just to smear it out. And what I really like, of course, is those bare trees there, the skeletal shape of the trees set against the skyline. And can you see the hillside behind? So I've got to get that in and try and do that. And we've got some nice greens on this here, and all the snow and the roof line, the chimneys, and so I've sketched it out with fairly tightly sketched, but I'm going to have a go at this anyway. So I've got to get in right away with the sky here. I've got to get a nice little colour going there with a little bit of, yes, there's a little bit of crimson alizarin I think we need there, and a bit of raw sienna perhaps I think might help. I don't want it too red, but I want it to reflect something there. And I'm going to bring it right down. It's a little bit darker in places. Put a little bit of remains from my palette there, and we've got something over there as well. So we'll leave a little bit of things to represent the sky. But it's it's obviously a rather overcast. Let's let that run down there. A little bit darker there perhaps. Over the lines. Yes, we're going to do that. Let's leave it at that for the moment anyway. Although perhaps a little bit of yellowy there, bit of sienna. I think a little hint of purple in that cloud there. Yes. Let's leave that. Right. Okay. Leave it there. And then we've got, perhaps I should get this big slab of roadway in. Just to map out this muddy track here. But obviously I've got to leave some whites of the paper because I want to show that snow, of course. So we do that by having some whites showing of our paper. I'm going to try and use that as our foil to the white. If you have darks, of course, we're going to help us a little bit. A little few marks here. This is sort of wet on wet really. Well, the paper was dry, but I've got quite a lot of water there now floating there, so on the surface there. All right, let's leave it there. And here I've got a green of this shrub here, I'm not sure what it is. It's largely coated in snow. So I want to get a dull out green. I've got 3 greens. I've got my Viridian, my sap green, and I've also got my hookers, which I don't use on its own, but it's very good for mixing. So let's just go. There's a big house here which is largely covered with this, or obscured somewhat by the shrub there. So let's vary in those greens, but I want to leave up here some gaps there for the snow. I think we can do that. I can put some gouache in later, but I want to try and preserve some of the white, which is traditionally what we do with watercolour. So over here there's a big sort of, I don't know what it'd be, a kind of privet, but it's a really big rounded clipped shrub, but largely covered in snow. So I'm going to just whack that in somewhat, leave some gaps on the top, and in the foreground here we've got a wall. So I can put a little bit of green in there, I think. So let's tap that in a bit. Yes, lots of variety, which is what I want there. And I think I can put some blobs of darker green in that tree on this shrub here. So I'm going to put a little bit of ultramarine there and tap in a few little bits here. Yes, and down here is quite a dark bit as well. So I'll get some darker green here, slightly different greens. Yes, I think I can do that. Come there. So I'm just mainly getting the masses. I'm just trying to see them as shapes initially. Now along here I have a wall, so I'm going to get some I think some yellow ochre, I think, is what I need here. Let's see what I can get. Mix some yellowy. That's a little contaminated my ochre a little bit with my green, so just having to wipe it out a bit on a bit of tissue. Yes, we've got something there. I can do that. I'm going to put some marks in there to show us the stone walling. Cotswold dry stone walling there, and we've also got some along this face of this. So I'm going to get a little bit of umber and yes, that's just comes all along here, this all up here, just putting in the main shapes really. And there's a bit of walling coming along in the front of that house as well. Again, we can put some different little bits of darker bits. And along this wall itself actually needs to be a lot darker. So I've changed, here's a little half-inch flat here. But I can use that just to create a little bit of interest in that wall and along the bottom of it. But I think we'll go on to a smaller brush in a moment, but I'm trying to do as much as I can with bigger brushes. Then you concentrate on the main shapes without fussing too early on the detail. Right, we can do that. Yes, I think I'll probably use some a smaller brush and mark in these, and also some gouache later when we lay some marks to represent the snow. Let's bring this down a little bit here. This wall, I've got to get some brick shapes or stone shapes a little bit as we go. Now also, I think I need to put a few dark bits in here, so I'm going to get a bit of Payne's grey. There's a dark bit from this big old hedge is overhanging this, so I need a darker shape there. And also there's a bit of a shed coming there, a roof line of a shed. And along the edge of this track you can see the snow. It's all dirty now. Like that. Try to suggest some directional lines along here. A little bit of dry brush there actually can help us, I think. Yes, we need to have a darker bit of trackway there. Try and get some thing to show the shape of that road there, little gully there. Right, now let's get onto a smaller brush. I need something with a bit more control, and I think I'm going to use this one. This is a number 6 round. So I think we can get in and get some of these houses in. Let's put a little bit of, so I want to get the tonal values about right. Doesn't matter if your colour is absolutely accurate, but you need to have your values correct. And on the front, I'm using a little bit of dry there, dry brush, and that's helping me. A little bit there, this kind of broken area can suggest some snow pattern on there. Right, let's get a little bit more water. Right, go for that. And then let's just put the front of these house down here. This is yellow ochre, largely anyway. There's the windows here, which I'll put in, you'll start to see them as we go. Right, chimney there, another one here, one here. So similar here on this face of this building, this house here. It's funny when you start to put your windows in, I put some darker colours in, you'll see it suddenly emerge from the gloom. That's the way of a lot of painting. Actually, it doesn't happen until a little way down the road. You get some thing. Yes, I can see now this. I think this is a garage building here. I'm gonna do that. Right. I think we can bring a bit of the house down there. And right, now we need to put a few roof lines in. That helps to define the shape of the roof a little bit. So I'm using a little bit of umber and a little bit of Payne's grey, I think, to help me get a few lines in here. Yes, you've got under. Yes, I think we need to put a line under here. Eaves line. And we've got a line down here. Side this. Emphasize that chimney a little bit better there. And also this one, I notice, is quite a lot darker. And then we have these dormer windows. In fact, we've got quite a peak that's catching this colour, so we've got to get that in right away, and it's coming down the side there. piece in the middle there, a little triangle shape there. Let's emphasize it a little bit more, I think. Right, okay. See there, roof line, a few tiles showing there, and also we're going to see under the eaves, I don't know whether it's thatched, but certainly under this line here, this house comes down like that. A few more marks in our chimney. Help define the line a little bit better. And we've got to get the line along there. Yes, that's it. And we've got the line of the roof there. There is snow on here, so we'll deal with that in a moment, but let's just get some general marks in so we know a little bit where we are. That's it, I can see it now. We've got another little window there just going out of our view. Put some dark colours in a minute. You know, the dark glass, the pane that panes the window, you'll see that. Put a few marks in here just to suggest. And there is a sort of green area here. Let's get some dark green. I've got some almost obscuring a window there actually, but I can put some different colours in this. Now I've got them. I look around my picture and see where can I use this? Where can I use this element? And we've got a little bit of green shrubs here. There's lots of snow on this one actually. We'll have to deal with that as we go. Right. Now here is a lovely conifer, which is really rather lovely. So I'm going to get some bluey green. It's a fir. So I'm going to kind of suggest that. Right, I can do that. It comes down in this space here. Some different greens here. Right, let's get some. There's some nice yellowy greens in there too. So let me get some yellow ochre. I'll give me a little bit brighter green there. I think I can suggest this. I don't know what this plant was actually, but it's trying to get some of the leaf forms, help suggest it anyway. So again, just change the colour, just putting a bit of red now in one of my greens to see if that can help suggest a different green. Again, squint your eyes, see what is needed to vary it. It was there, and it was some structure here, some sort of box of some sort. I've got to try and suggest some lines here for the stones. It's part of the grey stone walling there. Again, we can do that various ways. Go over with a credit card when it's fairly dry, or just enough to be able to move with your card anyway. Right, let's I think I need to get some darker green in this area. I've got some ultramarine on a green mix there, and let's put some darks in for some of those windows. Let's have a look. Is that dark? It's still a bit greeny. Let's stir up my Payne's grey. Put maybe a little bit of blue with it. Yes, I can do it. And let's say we need some more there. Also along here. I think that was the shape of a car here. Some windows in. Little touches just to suggest the glass there, define our little features as you want. Depends how much detail you want in your picture actually. If you're prepared to spend lots of time, you can add as much as you want. There's a door here as well. Gotta get that in. More windows. Try and define these things. Different shapes. You can't always see exactly what they are as objects, so you should try and paint what you see. It's a good adage, as they say. Paint what you see, not what you know. So you can't quite make out what it is. Don't worry about it, just try and see it as a shape or as an object. I find that's helpful for me anyway. Here we go. Now on this, got a bit of shadow here on this snowy rooftop there, look. We could step up that eaves line, I think. Now we need to perhaps, oh, I know what I've got to do. I've got to put in something of that hillside there. So I'm going to go for a light blue or a weak mixture of blue because I want to push it back. So let me just think where my sketch was now. Yes, I think this is where my hillside is. In the background here. So again, I'm just going to have a very light wash there. Because I'm going to paint over this now with some trees. But I need to dull out a little bit there with some raw sienna, I think. And a little bit of blue, perhaps it's too bright. It's just because these trees are going to be growing out here. So I just want to put a bit of colour in there. I'm going to set this now, put some of the outlines of trees up here. Yes, I got a little bit here. Right. And need to bring this in. This track here. I'm going to use let's get a bit of blue in that on that snow. It helps just a little bit too bright. There we go. It's a little bit better. And the odd muddy mark, of course, which you got to get. Right, let's leave it there. Let's get straight on with those trees. Although I've got to make it needs to be a little bit dry if I'm going to paint over there. Don't want it too wet because it will bleed too much. Right. Now let me see. This is quite dry, so I think I could go on and do that now. So I'm looking at. So I don't want to bring these trees too forward because they are back here, set against the sky there. Just using the side of the brush to to kind of suggest some trees, and we'll put in the branches a bit later. So this is dry now here, so I'm not getting any bleeding down here. I have to let this dry a little bit before I do anything there. So again, this is not a very strong mixture. I just want a little hint at this. Yes, they come down pretty much over this bit of lighter sky that I've got, and actually they come over that blue of the hill, so we'll have to deal with that. I think we can raise it up a bit here. I'll get away with that. It's bleeding a little bit, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. I think I can go in there with some stiffer mixture when it's a bit drier and put in some of the main branches, I think. Yes, I think we could do that. A slightly different colour there. Let's get some. Yes, I think we could do that. This is just the dry, almost dry brush here, covering over a large amount of whites that are there. Leave a little bit of the hillside to show, perhaps. Let's go. Yes, I think I can go for something a little bit darker in places. There. Yes, I think we can take out that slab of white there, because I'm going to put the trees up here. Their trunks, main trunks, will overlay this. I think I can bring it down. Yes, we could right over this. You want to keep every bit of your picture interesting. Right, I should let that dry perhaps a little bit. Now, while I'm here, what can I do to, let's put some different colour here in some of these bricks. All these big blocks of stone. And along the base here, bits of grass growing, a few old rocks and stones coming there. Yes, I need to get some darker elements in that wall. certainly here. This will contrast with the white, so I need to have some dark bits there. And a bit of dry brush here to make this read a bit better. And I'm going to put some gouache, I think, along the top of this wall here. But I think it could do with being a bit deeper here. And let's bring that down a little bit. There we go. Right, now let's try and, oh, excuse me. Right, there we go. On that side, that eaves there. Try and tighten up on some of these window shapes. Will help a little bit. Actually, now let me think. Oh yes, I can see we need some directional lines along here. Will help take our eye into the picture. Cars have been coming along here, making a muddy track. I can see that. And so let's think, is this dry enough now? Yes, I think we can. Let's get a really small brush. I've got a rigger here. You see this little rigger? Or a little number 3 rigger. Let's get some of these trees in. And this one's coming down here. Yes, let's get that. So I've got a mixture here of some Payne's grey. I don't want it black, so there's a little bit of green on it as well, perhaps, but it's all woodland behind this hillside here. So I'm trying to show these, just put these limbs in up against that bit of dry brushwork that I did. And let's see if it's starting to read a little bit. Yes, I think I can. Actually, I've got some sort of purpley, very faint lilac purpley colour on some of those limbs now, because it is sort of bluey against the winter sky there. So we can do that. Get a little bit dry brush in places. I need to put the odd darker elements in as well. And let's get back to my Payne's grey and right. So let me think now. Let's review the situation. I can still see that mountain behind, and by having these stronger elements here in front, it helps push them back. That's the idea. That's what we need to do. Right. Now let me think. Let's have I defined those windows enough? Have I put enough directional lines in here? Let's try that with this rigger here, whether we can make some textural marks. And yes, along this part of the wall here, it's all grass is growing, so I've scratched them along like that. Tell you what we could do, we could have a little bit of artistic license. Why don't we put a nice letterbox there? There was a box of some sort, I don't know whether it was the parish notice, it might be that, but I'm going to put something in there. Which will suggest something. And we can put a bit of black in there shortly. And also there was some, let's get some umber, there's sort of bits of an old shed here. Just hidden away there. Right, now let's think, could we step up that colour a little bit on that perhaps? Those dormer windows there. Some shapes. Got a bit showing there. A little bit more shadow under there, under that eaves there. And let's put some textural marks in that wall there. It is a stone, there's all Cotswold stone here. So all sorts of marks on it. Let's keep it interesting. And this building now contrasts with that one, which I'll keep a bit lighter. So you want to have light and dark. let's put a little blue door. If I can get a door, let's put something in here. There. Right. Now let's, should we get straight onto some gouache, shall we? Although before I do that, I can see there's a wooden rail there, post of some sort. Don't know what that's doing there. We'll leave it there anyway. Probably something to do with that old shed, I think. Holding something, or maybe there's a parish notice board here. Could do that. Something interesting anyway. See, we've got wall here, dry stone walling. I think I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this bit of snow here, and perhaps a little bit here. And a bit of snow in the roadway there. Let's do that. Right, let's get in some, see if we can get some gouache laid down and step up our bit of snow in the right places. Anyway, as I said, I've largely tried to maintain our whites of the paper, but I think I can get away with adding a bit more in places. If I look at my reference, although, as I say, we don't have to slavishly follow it, but this hedge here, big old thing, had a lot of snow on there. And also on this plant here, huge lumps of snow on it. A bit lying on the top here. And let's get some into this, on this wall as well. There's quite a lot here going along. Yes, that helps me raise it up a little bit, as there was. Helps our eye go in as well. So we can see that as a wall. Because we can see the snow on the top. And we can do some here. And I think a little bit up here more. A little bit on our chimneys and little highlights really. Although we've got so much snow, haven't we? Let's have a little smidge there. Let's bring it down there on it. break that line up a little bit. Right, okay. Along that wall there, on the edge, got all these shapes where it's catching the snow. Let's put this snow right up to the edge there and cut it in here a bit as well. Help us read that as a little curve as it goes behind this buildings. And yes, I think we can leave that fir tree there. Yes, I think that will do. I think we could a little bit of snow there, obscure that little bit. Got to be careful not to overdo it though. Right. Well, I think I'm nearly done actually. There's a bit more snow there. And also catching on the side of the plants here. I can see it as it goes around there. I think we should just cover this. Yes, I think I'll break that line a little bit. Yeah, I think we can say we're pretty much done there. Anyway, if you like this, if you enjoy this, please give me a thumbs up and also consider subscribing. That would be nice, helps the channel grow, which is always good. Oh, now before I go though, before I close, I must show you that I did a painting of this scene a couple of days ago on a smaller format, and I needed to make some improvements. I don't know what you consider, whether I've got away with it or not, but I'll show you so that you can compare. That's a smaller version. That's as opposed to this one. Look at the difference. Can you? I don't know where you. There you are. Is that one on a small format? And there on the bigger one. The small one was on A4. £150 or 350 GSM. Yes, 210 by 297 millimeters, which is A4 on the smaller one. I'm not quite sure what my bigger one was. Hold on a second, I can tell you. I get my... Yes, my larger one, which you're looking at now, that is 14 by 10 inches. Yes, it was on that paper in Langton's 100% cotton Dalerone. So I think they're just different really. Strange, obviously the same scene. I think where I have succeeded with this one is I defined that hillside a little bit better, and these trees push it back a little bit. the other day on the small one, I put my trees in and then realised I'd missed my hillside. So I did a little glazing when it was dry. I glazed over it and, you know, worked reasonably well. I'll show you again. Can you see there? It's not washing it out. It's a little bit faint, I think, my glazing. So I think it's more pronounced there. So there you have it. Snowhill Village is in the Cotswolds in the United Kingdom. Thanks for watching.